What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Submariner. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while. I know we took a little bit of a break. There's a lot of stuff going on the channel right now, and so it's led to a little bit of clutter. It's that time of the year. This is not a good season for YouTube. And so, like, when new stuff comes up, I like to cover it because I'm a new releases channel, and so that can lead to there being some clutter. But yeah, we got some things going, some things coming right now, and Sunless Sea obviously is going to stay around until we get ourselves into even more trouble. We can't stop before that happens. I was taking a look at my inventory and trying to figure out exactly what I'm working on here. It looks like I've got some Scintillac on board. It also looks like I've got some souls. And so my estimation was that I was headed to Mount Palmerston, is my guess. I see no reason that I would be carrying so many souls around with me if I was not going to Palmerston. I'd also like to look at my port reports real fast and see what is my Admiralty report going to. So let's go ahead and have a look here. And Admiralty, we've got to go to the Chelonate. Okay, the Chelonate... we may not get the Chelonate on this go. We might not get the Chelonate on this go. But that's okay. You don't always have to accomplish everything every time you go out. That's not what this game is all about. We also had that quest for the cigar maker, which apparently is on a timer. I was looking at the journal, and I guess that's on a timer. We actually have to complete that in a timely fashion, otherwise we get in trouble. So let's head over to the Salt Lions. We're going to make our way up to Port Palmerston. We're going to grab whatever port reports we can along the way. And if we've got something awaits us, well, we'll try to resolve some events as we go on and about to. I do think it's probably a wise idea that we start working on our ambition soon, but unfortunately we got to see Isery in order for that to work, and Isery's kind of hard to get a hold of. Salt Lions, let's go ahead and we will take a port report real fast, and then we will also visit the Unmakers. There it is. We get funding from the Bazaar. It's true, but the Station 4. Okay, so we've already done that one. Lost 5 Terror, which is great. That's actually a nice little conversion that we should be looking for. It's actually funny because a lot of people will say that, like, it doesn't matter if you pick up certain things while you're out and about. Like, they'll be like, oh, well, you know, like, it's just 5 fear. I would disagree with that assessment because 5 fear adds up. Let's say on an entire trip, you end up reducing your fear by 3 points here, 4 points there, let's say 5 times arbitrarily. That's 20 fear that allows you to extend your journey out that you just didn't have before. It was just taken care of and done. We don't have a Blind Bruiser quest right now, do we? I don't see an unstamped crate of souls. We do have a weird amount of cash on us right now. So let me just make sure that that's not something that we're stuck with. I don't see his icon anywhere, so I think we're in good shape with the Blind Bruiser. I think we resolved our business with him. Oh yeah, it's come to my attention that the crate full of dream snakes was a thing that I could have taken back to unlock a color over for the curator. That was a mistake, and that was largely due to the fact that my metagame knowledge failed me. I seem to remember having made that mistake before, but I guess I didn't learn from it. The story of my life, making mistakes and just refusing to learn from them. I would say we should probably go after this bound shark over here. We only got 17 torpedoes left. We've got something. I'm actually going to try and stir this battle back over this way if I can. There we go. We canceled his attack. Basically, I just don't want to hit the lily pads. I got to keep him up and away from me. And the kill should be right here. We'll wait for him to resurface. We'll kill him off. We'll take his hunting trophy. Also, the machinations thing. So this over here, if we go to our hold, in the previous episode, we picked up an Awakened Seal of the Red Science. Apparently, we can equip that. We actually don't have to finish the quest first. We can just equip that. And so we've got a Skyscar hunk of meteoric iron the size of a wheelbarrow in here that's actually giving us mirrors and iron. So that's cool. We could always use more irons. We'll go ahead and use its meat. We got the unprepossessing. It's suitable for smoking. Yeah, go ahead and do it. We gain terror, but we gain 2 supplies. So that'll be fantastic as well. And there's lots of ways you can burn off supplies in the future. So I wouldn't worry about picking up like a hold full of supplies. For example, if you take them up to like Mount Palmerston where we're going and you have like 20 supplies on you, you can trade like 3 supplies to go dig in the mountains and Mount Palmerston, and you'll pick up just random loot. You'll also pick up random fear here and there whenever you fail because it's a 50-50 shot. But that's a way that you could burn through it, and you can get all kinds of good stuff. You can get, like, random relics and things of that nature to sell off. We can exchange a secret for a prisoner, but we would need 175 pages for that. The prisoner that we need for one of our quests is inside of here. It's just I don't know how to get a hold of him. My guess is that we probably lose crew when we go in and try to rescue him. I mean, it is a prison after all, so I would expect some level of shootout and or misery before we could get that all taken care of. Got another bound shark up to the top right too. Bound by law or bound by a cage armature, it doesn't matter. He's still bound, and he ain't going nowhere. Scrimshander, we could stop by. I think we needed to go to Scrimshander for something, too. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. We got some stories to trade, and obviously, I always think it's a good thing to keep your storylines moving, too. This is a game where you're meant to hit, like, the different ports, like, 5 and 6 times on different trips, and make little advancements each time until you solve the entire... Oh, wow, we came down right in front of it. My bad. Almost got us murdered here. Let's go into Scrimshander. Now that we've lined ourselves up in Scrimshander, we're going to go inside. We're going to accept the price and dock, and we're going to see what we can do here. So... Now that we're back inside Scrimshander, for those that don't remember, this is a place where they collect stories and they inscribe them on bones, and everybody's a historian, essentially. We can compile a port report, so that's probably a good thing, because I think we were trying to gather up stories so that we could be king storyteller when we go back to Lobar Net. And then we can assist a ancient chronicler. He's trying to carve a tail with a steel-tipped quill. This does not work for a trembling hand. You succeeded. The monk describes a day in the life of a tomb colonist while you wield the quill. Its nib carves the bone easily as if it were mushroom flesh. The tale is dry, but he insists it be recorded for posterity. A few tomb colonists come to share their tales, a historical blind spot he laments at length. When the work is finished, he invites you to see further tales in the Ivory Archives as his guest. So now we've got 2 time in Scrimshander. And I think we can exchange that for something, too. We can dive into the archives. The Ivory Archives are a wealth of history with ages of visitors' stories carved into the bone pillars that build the Citadel. It's something between a library and an ossuary, but less inviting. You want enough time in the archives to explore and return afterwards. At least 5 points is recommended, but more allows deeper explorations. Do not overstay your welcome. It will not be pleasant. Okay, let's gather at the stage of history while we're here, too. Actors strut in an amphitheater of bone performing historical plays of dubious veracity. An audience watches from below, roaring. Drunk members applauding or jeering different tales of the work. Okay, we can watch a dramatic reenactment if we get our time here. The Drowning Chorus presents a sweeping historical opera with a 2-drink minimum. You talk with a glib historian. The mushroom wine he serves is stale. Sure, let's go ahead and do that. I think we already did that one, too. Well, I mean, we don't really have that much. Let's watch the reenactment. Let's see what happens. A city rises and falls in a matter of hours, with cast members playing a dozen roles each over the years. The dance number at the end is a crowd pleaser. Afterwards, the Drowning King assures the crowd that the dancing was strictly allegorical, but we lost 10 horror for that, so 10 terror for 50. Ooh, we could bring... I might bring a bunch of mushroom wine back here. All right, let's leave Scrimshander. We'll see what they want us to leave. We can assist a lost pilgrim's passage. A pilgrim stands by the exit with a confused smile. She hesitantly begs you for passage to somewhere else. Too many trips through Scrimshander, perhaps, or any number of causes, but after careful questioning, she ventures that she may be nearly finished with her pilgrimage. One holy place remains for her, the Gant Pole. Okay, we know where that is. We can leave behind a triumph with a trophy. We can leave behind our vitality. We can leave behind something more tangible, a finger. We'll go ahead and we'll leave behind a past triumph. We don't have the Z stories to do the other part, so we'll leave the hunting trophy. The guards light incense and clean the trophy with a musky oil. As you recount the victory that won it, a chronicler etches your words onto its surface. The scratching of the bone quill grows louder in your ears with every word. By the time you finished, your trophy has been replaced with an identical copy, but this one hasn't been inscribed with a thrilling fictional tale. As you depart, you wonder if you would recognize the hero of such a thrilling yarn. It's funny how they delete the memories from your brain, too. Oh, really? We can sell those for 25 over here. That's not too bad. Okay, lamentable relics. We definitely don't want to take too many of those because we're going to need those back. Now that we've got 7 lamentable relics, we can do the quest for the collector or whatever his name is. The guy that wants us to collect weird lots of stuff for him. I'm like, oh, I want 3 of this scintillac. Oh, now I want 7 skulls. Oh, I want 4 books. That guy. But he pays us a lot of money, so I don't ask questions. That's really kind of an issue, though. In life, if you're going to get paid a lot of money to do something, like way more than it's worth, you should probably ask some questions. I'm just saying. Everything I've learned about life is that if it comes super easy, there's probably a string attached. And that's just adult wisdom. You know, you live life and you learn that most people expect to be paid around the right amount for something. And if somebody's offering you a shit ton of money to do something mundane, chances are it may not be on the... Either they're ridiculously generous, or B, it's not on the up and up. We'll stay underwater for right now because we're about to refuel anyways, so I'm not really concerned about our fuel levels. When we get to Palmerston, we'll refuel there. and then we'll head back out. We probably won't have enough supplies to spend on anything else, but I find it odd that we haven't found anything. We should probably go to Antha, too. I think it was all the underwater places that we needed stories about in order to become King Storyteller. And I fancy becoming King Bard, becoming the guy that can tell everybody stories and, like, entertain the crowd. That guy never lacks for a place to sleep or money to make. Everybody loves a good story. Everybody will buy a beer for the guy that tells a hilarious anecdote. You know, do you say anecdote or you say anecdote? Is there a C in there? I've never known. I just say anecdote because it sounds better to me. But I don't know if there's actually... I know there's a C in the spelling, but do you actually say it, you know? I swear to God, construction is running me around in circles right now, and I know you're probably tired of hearing about it, but it's like I gotta take breaks every 5 seconds just to allow them to, like, jackhammer away. So, we were at Antha. All I really wanted to do here is I didn't care about getting sharper or anything like that. I just wanted to grab some stuff very, very quickly. Looks like I can buy Scintillac for that. Nothing here is looking super sexy to me. And so off we go. All I really wanted here was the port report. And we have acquired that. We are successful in our mission. Now then, whoa, what is up with this weird blood zone over here? Oh, it's volcanic because of Mount Palmerston. Yeah, these places actually exist at the bottom of the ocean, too, if you didn't know it. Those mid-ocean trenches and whatnot. Mid-ocean ridges, I apologize. The trenches. Mid-ocean ridges, though, are kind of interesting. They're kind of the catalyst for all seafloor growth and all that kind of thing. And the funny part is, what's proven over and over and over again with science is that, like, the guy that comes up with the right answer is always ridiculed, and then he dies, and, like, 30 years later, they're like, oh, he was actually right. And then there's no recompense for any of the people that, like, ridiculed him and tried to run him out of science. There was a guy who proposed that. He was like, yeah, I think that there's some kind of spreading mechanism at the bottom of the ocean, but we don't have submarines yet, so I can't prove it. But I feel like it's got to be, like, volcanic in nature. And everybody was like, oh, no, you're an idiot. You're a moron. You have no idea what you're talking about. And he was like, okay. I think I know what I'm talking about, though. And it turns out he actually did. He guessed it. He guessed it completely and totally. The Daily Bread. You know, we can actually go down and pretty easily. Let's go up to the crater. There we go. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but the road to Brimstone Convention is paved with cinders. Do they admit visitors to the Brimstone Convention? Probably not, but you never know. They might just sell tickets. You look down and you see Port Palmerston like a toy and the ruins like gravel. You've come far, but the volcano's cone still rears above you. Rest a little before you go the last half mile. The road to the crater ends at a brass gate in the crater wall. Beside it stands an oddly charming little cottage. It's thrown together from pumice and basalt, but it features honeysuckle. An equally charming deviless in a tea gown leans against a cottage wall, twirling a parasol and fanning herself. I'm the guardian of this place, she remarks languidly. You may not pass, but can I offer you a cup of armillaria tea? Sure, let's drink tea with a devil. Armillaria, that's not one of the poisonous ones, is it? You're pretty sure it's not. No doubt she'd be much less pleasant if you tried to break down that gate, but now she's a courteous, soft-voiced woman in a tea gown. She asks about your voyages. She's desperate for news of London. It's mists, it's nights, it's sick, it's poor, it's fires. She tactfully turns aside questions about the convention, but she shares some of the secrets of the Neath. Come and see me again, she says. Next time you're here. She shrugs gracefully. Bring me a present if you like. Oh, we actually never went up and talked to her, so that was stupid of me. All right, well, let's do that. We were fortunate. How many of them died down here? You could bury them in the ash, but they're so choked and jumbled, you might as well just leave them below. The whole island is the unholiest imaginable ground anyways. At least you have souvenirs. 3 grinning skulls and a carven crooked cross. Hooray, and it's alliterative! A carven crooked cross. And we'll get our port report. We've got 8 supplies left. I'll try again. We were fortunate again, and so we get... Oh, we gain 10 terror each time we do that, though. Oh, shit, that's not that fortunate. We got 13 lamentable relics, and we got some outlandish artifacts. We are going to have to figure out a way to offset the ridiculous amount of fear that we have right now. Probably by just, like, sailing better and making sure that we stay near to stuff. We'll do the Empire of Hands quest while we're down here, too, although our terror is a bit high. I have no idea why that just happened, but it did. It did it all by itself. It wasn't me, I swear to God. I had nothing to do with that one. I wasn't looking to shoot at anybody. It wasn't my plan anyways. Looks like we got a pirate up there. Not trying to go to Dukes with pirates right now. Just trying to make my way towards Irem. And then once we get to Irem, we might be able to trade out some lamentable relics or something like that for anything useful in the area. Ah, it rolled over our terror. I was hoping we would get it right at the last one. We're at 71. We should be good as long as we stay close to land, so that's what I'm going to try to do. However, that does give us a limited tolerance for events going wrong. So just stuff to think about in that regard. However, I think we will make port down at the island where we can get supplies once our fuel starts to get a little bit lower. So in Irem, we'll go ahead and get our port report. Let's have a look at the shops and see if there's anything that we can do down here. Lamentable relics, we can't actually trade for anything. The strange catch, I don't think I care about. However, I will trade Tales of Terror for Z stories because we need them. We can also sell our extraordinary implications, or we can buy Searing Enigmas. We can trade them around, but I don't know. Element of Dawn, fuel, no. Soothing Cooper Longbox is kind of tempting. Yeah. How many secrets do I have right now? I have 6. Yeah. Let's go ahead and buy another one. Why not? We'll take it with us. And then Watchful Curios. We can get those, though, from, what's his name? The king, the Under King, or whatever the hell his name is. So I'm not going to worry about that too much for now. Let's try to keep our terror nice and low by staying near icebergs and things. Apparently the icebergs in this ocean are weirdly calming. They make you feel better about the situation. Like, I'm sure it'll be okay-ish? I don't know. Make our way down to the Empire of Hands. We're sitting on 71 terror right now. Some of the worst events can give you like 25. And so I'm a little bit nervous about that. We've also got a shining barge over there. Let's see if we can't put into port a little bit quicker, because I really don't want to mess with him. Not if I can help it anyways. Oh, shit. Kill the lights. And if he wants to come about, he can come about. But I'm going to try and keep it nice and tight as we go down to the Empire of Hands. We'll get the port report from here, and then we'll try to do the thing for the Monkey King, where we give him the gift, and then we'll see if anything's going on with the temple that they're excavating either. Alright, so we will go to Zailing. We will get our port report. Let's see here. We can gain access to the court. So today the sprawling palace is called the Wild Wheel Court. Tomorrow, who knows? The world of Pentecost apes is one of cruel whimsy where stolen traditions last only as long as their amusement. The gates are guarded by 2 armored monkeys that would look adorable if not for the blood on their bayonets. Humans are not welcome without an invitation or a worthy gift for the Emperor. We'll give him a gift. The stench and heat as the gates are open are a sucker punch to your senses. Inside, the stagnant air of the windowless wood palace hangs with sweat and taste of hair. Everything is filthy and every surface is used. The apes like to swing across the roof, as likely to swing across the roof as to walk the floors. In prized oasis of relative calm, the high soul conduct themselves with the poise of highborn lords and ladies. Around them, their barely uplifted lessers scamper around exhausted, taking orders and cruelties from all who dare dispense them. In the middle are countless more, a sea of apes longing for advancement and fighting for what they have with tooth, claw, and low cunning. Emperor Crispin IV holds court in the heart of this palace. None may speak without permission, but the voice of the emperor is still the last heard of all. To step into his throne room is to step into another world, a polished one of cool and blessed quiet that already feels as alien as it is pleasant. The emperor sits on his throne, wrapped in robes of violet and wearing an ornate golden mask. He remains motionless, silent. He could be mistaken for a statue if not for an almost imperceptible nod to grant a seneschal permission to speak his name. She approaches, arms folded in the red-trimmed yellow robes of a court mandarin. Her expression is carefully blank, the chestnut hair in her face powdered alabaster white and decorated with exquisite detail in red and black. The rings on her fingers mark her as 10-souled apes, a status even the Admiralty can respect. She bows before you, a complicated ritual display of sweeping sleeves that somehow never breaks eye contact. Finished, she waits for your response. Emperor, so we can return the bow or we can remain still. We can try. A flicker of disapproval. Did you do something wrong? It would appear so. Be that as it may, there is business to discuss. The exquisite seneschal requests your assistance to supply the Empire of Hands' great work, a zeppelin that would take them to a new home far from here. You point out that the Admiralty has the Empire of Hands both under embargo and quarantined. The only thing worse to be caught doing here than supplying them would be helping them escape their confinement. Have your people not already caused us enough pain, she demands? We starve, and you would prevent us being fed. We thirst to explore, and you cage us like animals. Why? For what fine purpose? What threat are we to you, who happily dine with devils? She shakes her head almost with pity. What could you possibly see in us that shames you so? I will accept. With a pair of servants to row the boat, she takes you to the Zeppelin site in Port Stanton. It was originally the project of a traveler from afar hoping to travel east who encountered an accident. In his plans and engine, however, the monkeys saw their opportunity. The great exodus will require supplies and fuel, of course, explains the seneschal. We also seek souls to uplift our brethren that they may join the work. You will, of course, be reasonably compensated for your expenses and rewarded upon completion. She also hints that there may be faster ways to complete the Zeppelin. To say more, though, would require a level of trust you have not yet earned. So we gained Wild Wield status, and Empire Fans Monkey Business is at 40. Okay, well, I can give them supplies, but I don't really have that much. I could give them fuel, but I don't have that much, so we're probably not going to do that just yet. We will also compile our port report, so there it is. That's all done and taken care of. We'll fall back and we will go to Fountainhead Island. And we will go to the Delightful Adventuress's camp. The Delightful Adventuress, helped by her faceless clayman bodyguard Barnabas and a small group of worker monkeys hired for the price of her soul, worked to excavate the vault of the First Emperor. Let's go ahead and go to the vault of the First Emperor. You stand once more before the imposing stone door. The Delightful Adventuress consults papers while her clayman Barnabas and a small crew of variably hard-working monkeys try to force open the doors. Ah, you there, dear. Do pick up a crowbar. There's a dear. Bit of elbow grease should do it. Right, on the count of 3. Muscles human and primate alike strain as the Delightful Adventuress harries everyone along. Finally, with a crack and a screech of triumph and exhaustion, the doors slide open. Inside is blackness. There. Now chop chop, everybody, declares the Delightful Adventuress, striding into the dark with a personal glim lantern. Behind her, monkeys collapse to the ground, gasping, occasional stolen words and squeals of protest escaping into the air. And from there, we will end the episode. I will see you all in tomorrow's episode of Sunless Sea Zubmariner. I hope you've been enjoying the series so far. Hi to everybody, and I'll see you when next we commence. Bye-bye.